Going to find out all of Victor's deepest, darkest secrets and pull it out of her. No, she's a lawyer here in town, so maybe I'll argue with her, maybe not, but she has some good advice for you, so stick around for that. As well as Yendi Parker. She's a teacher here at Yuma Catholic, as well as part of the Women's Republican whatever. So we're going to find organization. There we go. We're going to find out about that as well. So stay with us for What's Up Yuma Radio, beginning right now on KOFA 94.7 FM.
And streaming online at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. You can also view our show on the Border Radio Facebook page and the KAWC YouTube page. And don't forget, you can reach out to us by email at whatsupyumaradio@gmail.com.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, serving up scratch-made food, craft beers, and experiences at 2 desert locations in Welton. More at hightanks.com.
Chili from Philly, Nick Papa Giorgio from Yuma.
Johnny Show! What's Up Yuma? What's Up Yuma? Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Yuma Radio. I'm Johnny Porter.
And I'm Victor Calderon. And Johnny, you want to talk about some radio news first?
Yes. So I just saw, and according to Facebook, if this is real, it
could be fake news.
Yeah, it could be fake news. That kind of happens from time to time. But I just saw that 100.9 is off air now. 100.9, the river, and so that probably means that 95.1 is going off air as well. They were both owned by Eldorado Broadcasters, and they sold to K-Love, which is a Christian station, so they're supposed to switch formats to a Christian station. Don't know how that's all going to work out, but I did go by yesterday, and it's sentimental for me because that's where I started in my radio career 15 years ago.
Right.
You know, and I drove by yesterday, and they had the U-Haul outside, and they were have a big trash, whatever,
trash bin or
trash
something,
bin, out there, throwing stuff away and moving stuff into a U-Haul. So it's an end of a era. 95.1. It's been the number one station here in Yuma. Country, obviously, everybody loves country here. That's been a staple, as well as 100.9. That was a different station back in the day. 100.9, the Jet. A lot of people remember the Jet. Mm-hmm. Little John came over and started that station years ago. But 560 went off a while back, and now it looks like there's no more 100.9, the river. And, I don't know yet. I haven't seen anything, but I'm pretty sure that 95.1 was going to go down at the same time. So
it's never good to see like radio or any media companies closing or shutting down or lowering their, efforts.
No, it's sad because, you want variety. Right. In town. You want a variety and different voices in town, people to listen to. And I got to say something. When I got into radio, I found out people don't listen to radio anymore for the music so much. It's for the personalities. They want to be in touch with the people in their community.
Yes.
They want to hear from them.
That's what we're all about here.
And that's what we're all about. That's what we do. So people understand it's like these are real people. You can see me and Victor out in the community. You out there getting, as a reporter, getting the story. But that's what people want. And the music's like the side thing now because they can get music anywhere. So it's all about the people in the community being out there. So a lot of people, or a lot of stations have abandoned that. We talked about AI. And so I just, that's my little piece. And it's kind of sad to see it go, but that's just the way it goes, I guess.
Yeah.
But I'll let Victor get to announce our first guest.
So Johnny, remember on Monday when I said I was looking forward to this week of shows?
Yep.
We were going to have some people with interesting stories. We've had people with interesting stories on, some people that I know. So today's our first guest is probably like my biggest get so far.
Yes.
In news, when we're trying to book someone, we want them to come on the show, and they finally come on. We call that a get. Mm-hmm. So our first guest, she is a Yuma attorney. She's a partner at the law firm of Walsma and Rodriguez, PC, and I'm lucky to say she happens to be my wife.
Yes.
And her name is Araceli Rodriguez. Thank you for being here this morning.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. And I'll let Victor kind of, because he did say he had some questions for you.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like his shot. He gets to put you on the spot and stuff. But yes, you are a local lawyer. And I asked you, it's not criminal stuff. You do other things and you have some advice. And we're definitely going to get to that as well. But Victor, like you've been dying to ask her.
So first of all, let me say I'm a little low-key nervous right now.
Okay.
Because of like all the interviews, this is like the one I don't want to mess up the most.
Yes.
I do not want to mess up. But then of all our guests, it's the person I know the best.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're going to start as we usually do. We like to let our listeners and our viewers know about our guests, where they're from, what makes them tick. You are from Yuma County. You're from Somerton.
I am.
And so tell us about, growing up and, what schools you went to and your youth.
So I now live in Yuma. Just full disclosure, I live in our zip code, as you know, is 85364.
Yep.
But growing up, it was 85350. So I was born here in Yuma at what was in YRMC. I grew up on the Mesa, which is culturally part of Somerton. It's not actually part of Somerton.
Not part of like the town part
no,
of it.
it's
more-
unincorporated county.
Uh-huh.
So, but we are considered part of Somerton culturally because we were part of Somerton School District, and we still are part of Somerton School District. So I went to K through 12 schools. Or K through 12, K through 8 at Somerton School District. I graduated from Orange Grove Elementary, Somerton Middle School, and then at that time, the kids from Somerton went to Cibola. Now, as you guys know, now as you guys probably know, Somerton has its own high school finally.
It does. It does. When did that open?
It is in its third year.
It's in its third
so
year, yeah.
Next year it'll have seniors.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah, so but back in the day for, for over 100 years, I believe, since Somerton's been around for over 100 years, I think for higher ed, kids had to be bused to Yuma.
Yeah, they get to
and so I was one of those kids that for high school, I came into town and I graduated from Cibola High School in 2003.
All right.
So tell our listeners, you mentioned you're from La Mesa neighborhood, and you said it's culturally part of Somerton, but remind our viewers and listeners where it's located.
So it's the Mesa. It has kind of a reputation for being like, it's definitely a working class, lower income area. It's a hodgepodge of trailers and houses, and it's actually two places, but generally referred to as La Mesa. It's Orange Grove Trailer Park and La Mesa Verde Trailer Park. And it's by, you can't miss it. It's by Cocopa Casino. You see at least Orange Grove as you're driving on Highway 95.
Just went by there yesterday.
Yeah, kind of by Somerton Airport. So that's where I grew up. I grew up on Lime Avenue in La Mesa, and that's where I lived all my life till I graduated from high school and went off to college.
What was it like growing up in that neighborhood?
I loved it. I mean, I'm still friends with the people I grew up there with. One of them is my friend and legal assistant. I'm going to a birthday party tomorrow.
Who's that?
Her name, she's going to hate it. Her name's Lupita Rangel.
Okay.
She may be watching.
And she's from right there too, huh? And
Yes.
she works with you.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, that's where I grew up. It has. I like to describe it as like the lanes of Somerton.
I just got to say, so somebody else grew there, and she's in the legal field.
Yes.
Okay, so I know somebody else that grew up right there, and she's in the legal field as well.
Oh, wow.
Liliana, you know Liliana Padilla?
Yeah, Lily.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah.
used to work. My first law firm and second. She worked with us too, so I know Lily.
So that's my kid's aunt.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my kid's aunt.
a small world.
Yeah, small world.
Yeah.
And so what? I need
But
to know.
Lily's not technically from La Mesa though, because she grew up on the other side. She grew up on County 15 and by Cocopa Corner.
Yeah, corner. But I'm just saying,
But she's
it's
La
still
Mesa
Somerton.
adjacent.
Yeah.
She's still around kind of that area.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Her husband though is from La Mesa. He grew up the street from me.
Oh,
Eddie.
did he?
Yeah,
Eddie.
Eddie.
Yeah,
Yes.
Eddie
Yeah,
Perez.
yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
kid's
It's a
uncle.
great
Padilla.
couple, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, now I need to know what turned people into the legal world in there. What are you guys drinking? Or what was in the water?
What's in the water?
I don't know. People ask that too because the mayor of Tucson, Regina Romero, is also from La Mesa, and
Oh,
she grew
wow.
up on my street.
Yeah. And the mayor of Somerton, Jerry Anaya.
Yeah,
No
so
way.
And so they're either
also on my street.
so a lot of these kids, kids of like farm workers, they're lawyers,
So
they're
you-
educators.
Yeah, so I missed that. So the Mesa is, maybe not now, but back in the day, it was mainly a community of farm workers and their children, and now maybe their grandchildren. My parents were both farm workers, Lupita's parents, my assistant as well. So were Lily's parents. So I don't know. There's, maybe we grew up, listening to things about, Cesar Chavez or whatever. So we became maybe politicized more so than other people.
There was definitely something
There was like a
about
drive
it.
to just improve yourself, improve your family
community.
situation. Yeah.
And I see that a lot with, like you said, the field workers, farmers, immigrant families, with the parents instilling that into the kids, and the kids really, whether they hated listening to it when they were younger, actually it worked in the long run, because they do become people in the community that become pillars in the community in certain segments and aspects.
Yeah, and I'm actually not the only lawyer that came out of the Mesa. There's George Lozano. I don't know if you know him.
George
I've heard the
Lozano,
name.
He's
Yeah,
got billboards around
Yeah,
town.
that's where I've seen. Yeah, the
Yeah.
billboard.
He's a friend and also a fellow lawyer. He grew up there too.
Very cool. So when you were younger, then is this what you wanted to do? Were you at Cibola High School hanging out with these people? It says I want to be a lawyer. No, you're shaking your head. She's
No.
shaking her head, folks.
No.
What was it? Wait, so can you go back?
No, I never wanted to be a lawyer. Actually, not until I was after college. I don't know that I knew exactly what I wanted to do when I was younger. I just knew that I wanted to leave Yuma. Like many people, I wanted to leave
You
Yuma.
wanted to leave.
Yes, I was like, peace. So I knew I wanted to leave, and I was never really interested in medicine, so I knew that wasn't going to be for me. And it wasn't until, and in college, actually, I took my first quarter, because I went to Stanford University.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Where'd you go? Okay.
Yeah, quarter system, which is confusing. It's really trimesters. I took a law class my first quarter at Stanford. It was taught by a law professor. It was taught in the legal style of just Socratic method. And I love the class, but it's funny that it sounds silly now thinking back. I got a B. And I'm like, in the class, I'm like, well, I might not be good at this.
That was probably her only B.
Yeah.
That was a little
Like,
bit of a studious nerd.
Yeah, so that was like the B that I got.
celebrate when I get a B.
Yeah,
That's
like-
a
Hey.
huge feat.
And I
It's all
also
good.
didn't like
Same.
I didn't like the style of teaching. It was just like you get talked to for a quarter, and then there's only a midterm and a final. That's it.
So just lectures and then
Then 2 tests. So I didn't really like that. I liked more like writing papers, quizzes. So I didn't like that. So I'm like, nah, this isn't for me. And I was not pre-law at
You
in
were in like
college.
urban studies, right?
My major ended up being in urban studies.
And what is urban studies?
Well, it's actually at Stanford a made-up major.
Okay.
Somebody.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
On paper.
Well, it was somebody made it up, a student, and then it became so popular that the school made it into an official major.
Okay, so what do you learn there? What do you
So
study?
my emphasis within urban studies was urban education. So I actually took a lot of classes in the School of Education, but urban studies in general is, planning, design for cities. So transportation, things like that. So I thought I was going to, in college, I thought I was going to go into work for a city, get a master's in public policy or public administration or design. But then after I graduated from college, I came back to Yuma. I graduated from Stanford in 2007. I came back to Yuma, and I started working for Congressman Grijalva, who actually, it's been about a year since he passed away.
Yeah.
So I worked for him. I was offered that position while I was still in college. And I'm like, I don't know if I want to go back to Yuma. I was just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, you were just trying to run. I was
Like the vortex sucked me back in.
It does that to a lot
Yeah.
of
Everyone's
people.
always come back, John.
Yeah, and so I took the job. I accepted the offer. I came back home in the summer of 2007, and then in my position with the congressman, I got to work and rub elbows with a lot of lawyers. We had lawyers in the office, not like traditional lawyers, I would say, people that were working on drafting laws like legislation. I saw lawyers out in the community. I became friends with the lawyer, Brenda Sandoval, who's a federal public defender who did not grow up in the Mesa, but her grandma did.
Oh, there you
Is
go.
from the
They
Mesa.
got that connection.
Yeah.
So I got to be around a lot of lawyers, and that's kind of when I decided, hey, I like to read and write, part of my job, my title for the congressman's office at the time was community representative. So my job was to be, they described it as the eyes and ears for the congressman. So being out in Yuma County and La Paz County, being out in the community, like getting feeling the pulse and reporting back. And I didn't really like that much. I liked the assignments that were like behind the desk, reading and writing, so all that made me realize maybe I should, go to law school. And so it wasn't until I came back home and had that job that I decided to go to law school or to apply. So I had to learn, what I need to do to apply, LSAT, preparing for the LSAT, writing a personal statement. Luckily, law school is unlike some other areas of professions where, like, to go to med school, for example, you need to take certain classes.
Yeah.
You need to have, like, biology, chemistry, physics, all these things. There's a lot of prereqs.
All the math stuff that Johnny and I don't like.
that would be horrible for
Yeah,
me.
we're
But
not
you don't
math
have to
people.
do that for law school.
for
I did
law
not know
school-
that.
Yeah, no. The only, you need to have a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
You need to, write a personal statement, take the LSAT, and apply. Yeah, there's no
That's it.
prereqs.
So real quick, where did you go to law school?
So I actually I graduated from law school at the University of Arizona. So
Okay.
that's where I graduated from in 2015. But I actually, and this is how Victor and I met.
That's what. Hold on. Wait a minute. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna take a break.
Okay.
We're gonna leave it on a cliffhanger, and we're gonna
Okay.
find out
How did we meet?
How you and
How
Victor?
did Victor and Araceli
Yeah, we're
meet?
gonna do that after a quick break.
Okay.
You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Take KAWC and Border Radio with you everywhere with the KAWC KOFA app. The app lets you stream our news and music programs, link to the latest headlines from NPR, and hear stories from the KAWC newsroom. Download it to your smartphone through the Apple Store or Google Play Store. Just search for KAWC to load it to your phone right now.
You're tuned to 94.7 FM. The weather forecast for Yuma today is sunny with a high near 95 and a north wind around 5 miles per hour. Partly cloudy this evening with the low around 61. Yuma Air Show officials announced the Blue Angels have been added to the performer lineup for this Saturday's 60th annual Yuma Air Show. For more details, visit kawc.org/news. Stay tuned to 94.7 FM, KOFA Border Radio.
I'm Public Radio Runner. Join me for Bonus Smiles, the show sharing the stories and playlists that fuel runners. Why? Because the rando cheering you on at a mile 77 aid station is the same kind of person who supports local public radio. Join us every Saturday at 5 a.m. on KOFA at 94.7 FM for stories that soothe and jams that power long runs.
For over 55 years, Border Radio KOFA has been a voice for music and culture in the region. We play indie, soul, funk, world beats, and more, plus local stories and live sessions. Tune in live at 94.7 FM, on demand at borderradioaz.org or on the KOFA app and discover your next favorite song.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here speaking with Victor's wife. And before we can move on, real quick, yes, Anthony confirmed that the 95.1 is no longer on air, so it's static.
So, but important to note, as we were talking about, she is a partner with Walsma Rodriguez PC. I am lucky to say that she is my wife, Araceli Rodriguez.
I love
Just
that.
to clarify. I have to say that.
For sure.
For legal purposes. No.
Full disclosure.
Or you
Full
don't,
disclosure.
so you don't sleep on the couch tonight. There you go. But no, so, and the reason why I opened it like that, the Victor's wife, because we're going to get to the point where how you guys met, and that's
Right.
what the audience is waiting for. That's the big
Dun, dun,
reveal.
dun.
So,
Yeah.
how did you guys meet, and how did you convince Victor to come to the place you were trying to run away from?
Well, I said that I graduated from the U of A, which is correct, but that was not the first law school I attended. So I actually first started law school at Berkeley, UC Berkeley.
Oh, cool. Yeah, very famous, yeah.
That was in 2010. But I actually left Berkeley due to I took a medical leave. I was having some health problems, and so I withdrew before the semester ended, my first semester there. And instead of coming back home after leaving school, I actually moved up farther north in California. I moved to Sacramento because my sister her partner had just passed away, and so they had no children. And so I moved in with her to kind of keep her company, and so I ended up somewhere where I didn't think I would ever end up. Sacramento, California. Technically, it was Elk Grove. If people from Sacramento, such as Victor, are listening.
No.
And so then I believe, and Victor can correct me if I'm wrong, he had just gotten back to Sacramento.
Right.
He had just moved back to Sacramento from Reno.
Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So-
moving in like journalists move, but we met in Sacramento. I need to ask real quickly, what was your first impression of when you met me? Put you on the spot.
Wow, you are on the spot for sure.
Well, we met at a bar club.
It was like it's called the Park Lounge in
It was
Sacramento.
called
Okay.
the Park Lounge.
Near the state capitol.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'll start. So I thought she was, obviously cute, well-spoken, easy to talk to, smart. That was my first impression about Araceli when we met.
Yeah, I thought he was. I thought he was handsome. I also remember thinking, oh yeah, he's definitely straight. Because sometimes you have to worry. If,
depending on where you are in
I'm not
Cali.
gonna put my eggs in like a non-straight basket.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
There's
That
nothing
sounds
wrong
horrible.
with that, but yeah.
I was like, okay, he's straight.
Yeah.
Because he was like wearing clothes that weren't like ironed, and I was
She
like,
noticed.
a gay guy would never,
Nah, that would never
go
happen.
out
Yeah.
without pressing his clothes.
Yeah.
He had like the dryer ironing. You know, where you just throw it in the
that's what I
dryer,
do.
you
That's
take it out.
absolutely.
And
Yes.
she still gave me a second chance, a second
Yeah,
date.
Yeah,
so
that's-
I'm like, you
So
know.
who approached who?
I mean, I think
I did.
technically it was her. Yeah.
Oh, wow,
I
okay.
reciprocated. I was like, she's cute. I'll follow through.
And I was single, and my friends, two of my high school friends, one of which I was talking about in the break, Jessica Lackey, now Kupo, and Paul Morgan, they were like, you got a date, put yourself out there, you're in a new place.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
So they were like cheering me from afar.
Right.
And so then that's when I met Victor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So then how did you convince him to come to Yuma?
Well, we didn't come straight to Yuma.
Okay.
So what happened was I decided, I decided after I had left Cal that I'm like, I want to give this law school thing a second try.
Okay.
Like, I feel better. I have a supportive partner now. I have an idea of what I'm getting myself into since I had already, I was at Cal for almost the whole semester. And so but then I decided that I wanted to go back home. I wanted to be closer to home. And so, so I reapplied to law school, but this time I was selective. The first time I applied to law school, I applied to like 15 law schools. The second time I only applied to 3, and I had the option of going back to Cal. They're very generous. When you leave on medical leave, you just have to get medically cleared and they'll let you back. But I didn't want to. It was too I hated the weather. It's very gloomy there. And I'm like, I'm a Yuma girl.
Yeah.
My-
we get
Arizona's home,
spoiled.
Somerton girl.
yeah,
More,
well, I'm a Yuma County, southwestern
Somerton,
Arizona.
yeah.
My friends that are not from Arizona call me a desert flower.
Yeah.
Or desert rose, because I'm always complaining if there's no sunlight.
Yeah,
But I didn't want to go to a place of doom, that I considered of doom and gloom.
Yep.
And so I'm like, I need to go back to where there's sunshine near my family. And so I decided to apply to ASU and U of A, and then reapply to Davis, which is a law school near Sacramento, in case I wanted to stay in Sacramento. And after that, I decided on the U of A. I thought it was a good fit. I like Tucson. And so then Victor decided to move with me. We moved together from Sacramento.
I'm like, sure, why not?
To Tucson. So
Gotcha.
then, yes. So that's how I ended up in Tucson. And then I graduated from the U of A in 2015, and I was kind of minding my own business, just getting ready to study for the bar. I was not looking for a job, and I ended up coming to Yuma like Labor Day weekend, and then I met Vicky Lynn Scott getting a pedicure, and she was like, "Oh, my daughter's a lawyer, Megan Scott." And I gave her a business card that I had. And then months later, Megan emailed me that they were looking for a lawyer at my first firm.
There it is.
And so I was like, fine, I'll interview. It doesn't mean I have to take the job. So I came from Tucson to interview, and then I got the job. So then I'm back in Yuma without you. Well, I wasn't back yet.
Yeah,
I studied for the bar in Tucson. And then once I took the bar, I came back. We came back to Yuma, so we've been in Yuma since 2016.
2016, you said, pack the bags, honey, we're going to Yuma. And were you excited to come here?
I mean, I had already been coming here, visiting family and friends, and they'd already adopted me. So I'm like, sure. I mean, it's only a little hotter than Tucson.
Yeah.
Sure.
Famous last words.
Yeah.
That little bit hotter does kind of make a difference, not so close to those mountains in Tucson where you could escape for a little bit. But, okay, so then in the legal field, so you passed the bar, you're in it. Did you enjoy it?
Enjoy law school?
No. It was
being a lawyer.
I'm being honest.
Being a lawyer.
Law school and the legal profession are not the same thing.
Yeah, so let's move to when you were actually at you're talking like your honor and
Yeah.
So I am now a probate and trust. Our focus is probate and trust work at Walsma Rodriguez, probate and trust work, estate planning, and real property work related to that. So I do enjoy my practice. It's not as contentious or contested is the word we use as other areas of law. Like I don't go to court that much. Mainly, my work is meeting with clients, preparing documents, and then also helping people administer and follow through the terms of those documents of either a trust, a will, powers of attorney. And so don't have to go to court for that very much. If we need to open a probate, we do file things with the court, but there's not too many hearings or anything like that. It's a pretty it's not a practice where at least not my practice.
Quick question, real quick. And then, so do you ever have to go, like if somebody's arguing over a will, is that like, would you have to go about, if somebody's saying like, no, that belongs to me, this wording is blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. So those would be like a will contest, what we would call a will contest. We do some of that, but we do some of that work, but we are kind of a small office, so we don't do too much contested probate. Our rule of thumb is if it requires an expert witness, we're not going to handle your case. So I have attorneys in Tucson or Phoenix that I refer those cases to. But yes, it happens.
Okay.
People fight over what the terms in a will or a trust mean.
Yeah, so that does happen.
Yes.
And then I you had something, and then we want to also talk about some advice.
So I have two questions in the time we have left. One is when you were here at KWC for the pledge drive last week, you had a message about estate planning and who should do estate planning. What was that message?
I said that our office motto is estate planning is for all. It's not something that only, the rich and, powerful should think about. And estate planning is planning for incapacity, planning for, death. That's what most people think about. But no, it's also planning for what happens if you're still alive and you can't make decisions for yourself. And who do you want who do you want to make those decisions for you if you're become incapacitated? It's for planning for children, minor children, adult children, incapacitated children, planning for pets. And the other, message in our office is that estate planning doesn't have to be expensive. It can, that's one of our focuses is helping people and not breaking their bank while doing so.
Mm-hmm.
The other question I had was, so we are in Women's History Month. Talk about the community of women in law here in Yuma and in Arizona.
Well, about half the lawyers in Yuma are women. So that's a big change from probably when my law partner, Pam Walsma, became a lawyer. There was only like a handful of women lawyers, but now the profession has changed. I believe now, and I didn't come prepared with this, about more than half the people that graduate from law school identify as female. They're women. Yeah. So the profession has changed a lot. I feel like, at least in Yuma County, there has been always people that have been supportive of women attorneys. Yesterday, for example, there was we call it an investiture. A new judge is going to be on the bench. She's female. Her name's Teresa Fox. She worked for the county attorney for a long time. And now she's going to be on the bench. And there was a lot of people there supporting her.
Supportive.
Yes. Yeah. So I think for that reason, Yuma is a great place to work for men and women lawyers.
Yeah.
It's a small community. Everybody knows each other. You can pick up the phone. You can email the court. And so I've known lawyers that have practiced here. A lot of Phoenix lawyers or Tucson lawyers, you guys have seen, they come and they're open their little satellite office in Yuma, and they
we won't name names, but you've probably seen their billboards on buses.
They have either a legal assistant or a paralegal or like an AI bot responding to inquiries. And so I've known lawyers like that get a taste of Yuma and they decide to focus their practice here just because it's a great place to work.
Well, thank you for being here and not being AI. I appreciate that.
Thank you for being a real person.
Yeah, being a real person.
And, going back to what she said, there is that support group of women, not just women lawyers, but also she's part of the Yuma Boss Babe.
Yes, that's
Wendy Stewart. We had.
I'm not an OG. I just kind of came to the Boss Babes through a Facebook invite, and I like to support their events when I can. It's hard being a lawyer. It can be isolating. You deal with your clients and other lawyers. So you kind of have to make an effort to socialize and rub elbows with non-lawyers.
Get out there with the boss babes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. We got to wrap up, and we have another woman coming up after this. Yeah, a lot of strong women here in Yuma and Yuma County. I'm talking about Yendi Parker. She's waiting over here in the wings right now. And what's up?
Real quickly, just tell our listeners and viewers about your office, your location, how they can find out more information.
So our name is Walsma Rodriguez, Pam Walsma, Araceli Rodriguez. We're the lawyers there. We are on 4th Avenue and 6th Street. You can look us up on social media. We have a website, www.yumalawfirm.com, and our number 928-783-7831.
Wow, you remembered all that. That's very good.
Yes, she's a lawyer.
That's
and she's a little bit of a nerd.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. And with that, yes, we are going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, crafted in Welton, inspired by the desert, offering scratch-made food, handcrafted beers, live music, and experiences like farm tours and glamping. Location information, the schedule of events, and details on the range of options to be enjoyed are at hightanks.com.
Next time on the Retro Cocktail Hour, we'll learn how to belly dance. There's Private Eye Jazz from late 50s TV and something brand new by Exotica Cocktail. I'm Darryl Brogdon. Join me where the music's always shaken, not stirred. The Retro Cocktail Hour.
Saturday evening from 7 to 9 on Border Radio KOFA.
The AWC Foundation is accepting nominations for the Arizona Western College Hall of Fame through March 14th. The Hall of Fame honors alumni, faculty, and community leaders who have made significant contributions to the mission of the college or in service to the larger world. More at foundation.azwestern.edu.
I'm Maria Hinojosa. Next time on Latino USA. A conversation with journalist and author Jelani Cobb about how this country's history of racism against the Black community helps us better understand immigration enforcement in the current moment. That's next time on Latino USA.
Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on KOFA Border Radio 94.7 FM.
From KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer. Castle Dome Middle School's campus has been temporarily closed for cooling system repairs since Wednesday, March 11th. According to District 1, that's because temps are getting unseasonably high and classrooms are becoming too warm. During the regular March meeting, Governing Board member David Ibarra shared that he visited the school and met with the district's maintenance department.
I wanted to see the air conditioning, chillers, and the water towers that have been at Castle Dome since 1998. I found that these units are beyond their shelf life. Throughout the years, purchase orders to replace this equipment has been submitted to the state to have this equipment replaced. These requests have been kicked back, and they told Mr. Tamayo that the repair projects are not approved.
This is pretty typical for Arizona schools. Under the current facilities funding model, things like cooling systems must fail first before the State Facilities Board will approve funding. That may soon change, however. An Arizona judge recently gave the state 8 months to fix its school funding system. From KAWC News, I'm Cisco Stargazer.
I'm Mike Suba, and I'm a big supporter of KAWC. You're getting a great source of information about our community, about the people that are working and living here, and you start going, you know what, this is really a valued service. And that's the great thing, is you've got a partnership here. And I'm a big believer in partnerships because the one thing I realized early on in life, I can maybe do a lot of stuff on a very limited basis, but when I start partnering up, it's amazing what we can do when we pool our resources. And so I hope that when people are listening to the station, enjoying the news broadcasts and the entertainment shows that are being presented, that they realize that you're not only the end user and enjoying what is being broadcast to you, but it can be a partnership too, where you can participate like I've discovered I can do and help get this service, enhance it, and provide even better programming. I'm Mike Suba, and I support KAWC.
Bopping to the new beats heard around the world, or relaxing to the tunes of Memory Lane. We are your non-commercial source of music. Run by volunteer hosts, this is KOFA Border Radio, 94.7 FM, 1320 AM, on the COFA app, or at borderradioaz.org.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up, Yuma Radio. We are here now joined by Yendi Parker. And so, look, I'm not going to rattle off everything she's involved with and everything like that. I'm going to let her do it because I know she wears many hats and does everything. But thank you for being with us. And go ahead and let everybody know some of the organizations you're involved with and what you do.
I'm so glad to be here, and I promised you I was going to behave.
Yes, you did promise. I saw that.
I'm just glad you invited me to come hang out with you guys this morning and that I had the day off.
Yeah, that worked out perfectly.
And you guys are just lucky I'm not still in my PJs on my day off.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
But now we're doing video with radio, so I had to get
you have to get ready. Yeah, you got to get ready for this
even
show.
Johnny and I have to look proper every now and then.
Yeah, and I got to check my posture every now and then when they shoot to me. But
I see that. I have to every time. I can feel my abuelita just smacking me if I'm not sitting up straight. But hey, before we start, I have to do one thing.
What's up?
I have a favor. Otherwise, I'm going to be cooked, as the kids say. I'm going to get in so much trouble.
Yeah, don't want to be cooked.
I have to send love to my listeners.
Uh-huh.
To your listeners, I have to give a shout out to my 3 kiddos at home, Jarrett, Jason, and Juliet. Mama loves you. And my 151 awesome, incredible students at Yuma Catholic. You guys enjoy your day off today. I'll see you Monday. And last but not least, my handsome Marine husband. He's currently deployed. Baby, I love you. I miss you. I can't wait for you to come home.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm glad you did that. You don't need to ask a favor for that.
We need to do more of that. We should have more shout outs.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. But so go ahead and let our listeners know who you are, what you do now, and then we're going to go back and baby, when you're growing up in Cuba. So okay, let's go.
Yendita time. So I teach English at Yuma Catholic. So blessed to be there. Absolutely love it. And I sit on a couple boards here in town and involved in our community. Absolutely love Yuma. We've been here for about 8 years now, and we're never leaving. Somehow we have managed to stay active duty and be able to stay here. Mm-hmm. I always tell my husband that God's sovereign, not the Marine Corps. So this is, God ordained us to be here, and we're just absolutely loving it. So I don't know what it holds for us, but we're staying. We're never leaving. So
And what was the one position that you took a leave from that you're talking to Victor off air?
Yeah, so that was it's through the Yuma County Attorney's Office. It is the Community Justice Board. And we work with youth that are first-time offenders, and we're really trying to help them. We meet with them about once a month, and sometimes their family as well. And we try to help them to kind of pivot out of life and change the trajectory, maybe make better decisions and support them. And I feel called to do that because I grew up in the hood.
So that's something
I feel like
you have a passion
I can help.
for.
Absolutely. I did take a leave from that for a little bit just while my husband's deployed, so I could make sure my 3 are on task. So.
And what was the other one? The Women's Republican?
Locally, we have a Republican Women's Club. It was established in 1947, the second oldest in the entire state, and actually very old compared to nationally as well. And I'm the president for that. We have our website online. You can Google us up, Yuma County Republican Women. I also am a vice president for the State Federation of Republican Women, and we are under the National Federation, one of the largest grassroots women's organizations. And for us, it's more than politics to us. It's community, it's family, it's patriotism. It's installing in our future youth duties such as civic duty, because that is just disappearing. We're just not involved. So yeah, I love doing that.
All right. So let's go back. We like to get to know our guests. So after all of that, so growing up, you said a little bit of hood was there, but so is that hood in Cuba, or is that when you got here? And let's start with Cuba.
Okay. So yeah, born and raised in Cuba. At 11 years old, this is crazy. At 11 years old in Cuba is when we moved.
Okay.
And my parents won a lottery. Back then, it had to be like a Visa lottery. And again, I just see God's hand in everything. So we were pulled for the lottery. My mom was a criminal law judge. My dad worked in the National Palace with Castro.
Okay. So before we get to how you got here, so your parents, you said your mom is a judge. Your dad, what was that again?
He was in the National Palace with Castro.
With Castro.
Fidel Castro.
Yes. Very famous Fidel Castro. What was that like growing up with that? Now, I don't know, like the awareness that you had, you know, but it's just life. This is what your mom does. This is what your dad does. But any insights you could give us growing up there in Cuba like that?
It was beautiful.
Beautiful.
It was beautiful. It's a Caribbean island, the largest in the Caribbean. Cuba is so beautiful. Amazing food, amazing people.
You know what I know about it is from I Love Lucy and Ricky Ricardo, right?
That's me and my husband on the daily.
Right. That's my thing. And I was like,
you got
wow.
to do.
Yeah. Cuba seems cool. Like this is awesome. But so go ahead.
It was absolutely beautiful. I just, you don't know until you know. And it just is heartbreaking to see what it has become of it because of communism and socialism. The last time I was there was in 2011. Probably won't be able to go back and visit just because I have to enter with my American passport. And if you do that, they could just keep you while you're there. But no, it's absolutely beautiful growing up there. My parents started to not feel so comfortable with everything happening and the way that people are being treated and everything that was happening. So
they're starting to kind of read the tea leaves or whatever. They're kind of seeing some stuff.
They were late to that. They were a little late.
They were a little
late to that since Batista.
But it's getting worse. It's
way worse.
No. But then, like at that time, things are like, and your parents they joined this lottery. You said to be able to. Okay, and so now to me, because I'm thinking like you're working in a palace and you're a judge, you got it pretty good over there. No.
Not in a socialist communist environment. Not at all. I mean, I had one pair of shoe, I believe.
Oh,
and,
wow. Okay.
Certainly food was a difficulty or just basic needs. I remember my parents always tell me, Yendita, you would get like faint, like you would get lightheaded. And it breaks my heart to this day. Look at what we're in 5 minutes in. I'm already going to start crying, Johnny. Oh. Anyway, it just breaks my heart because there's still people there, and it's now even worse. And the Cuban people, they love America. They want freedom. They would love to have our Constitution and our democracy and capitalism. And I have a few cousins left, not as many. A lot came to Miami, so most of my family is now in Miami, Florida. But it's devastating to see the uprooting of an entire, family. My grandma was one of the first female pilots in Cuba. It's your entire background, your legacy, and then family spread apart, and broken. So I have huge hope for them that one day they can enjoy freedom and just prosper. Most of my friends that I grew up with in Cuba, they have masters in law degrees, and they're just so intelligent.
So there's a good school system. It sounds like there,
but you can't get a job.
But it's hard to get a job. So there's
And
a
make
good
money.
schooling, so but they're difficult to get a job, but good schools that you could get these degrees and things. So at 11 years old, your parents get picked for this lottery. Where did you move to? Is it like you kept bringing up Miami? Is that where?
Was that where?
Is that the hot spot for? Oh
I
no.
mean,
Where'd you go?
I wonder what life would have been like, but no, we actually there was no direct flights back then either, so we had to fly from Cuba to Mexico, from Mexico to Miami. We were there a couple of days, and then my parents, based on this program that we were in, they chose Portland, Oregon. So I went from Cuba to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
So when my husband asked me to be his wife, he gave me the disclaimer of, I'm a Marine.
Okay.
We will have to move every year. And I said, baby, I got you. God prepared me for this. If I can handle the Caribbean to the Pacific Northwest, I think I can handle California to Missouri.
So do you remember ending up over there, like at 11 years old?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
What was that? Culture shock? And
huge.
And one other question.
Yes.
Are you speaking English as well in Cuba?
I was learning it a little bit, but
okay.
it just took about one summer in Portland with the new neighborhood friends that I had,
Gotcha.
and I knew
And then you
English
got it. Okay.
crazy. That's the amazing thing about kids. But no, I remember landing in Portland and looking around the gray, and I told my parents, I said, "Listen, that one pair of shoe, I'm good. We can go back. It's totally okay."
Yeah,
because it's
probably
gloomy.
The food's not as good. You know, they don't have good Cuban food. Probably, maybe not then.
Not
Not in
then.
Portland.
No, in
Yeah,
fact,
maybe
most of
now.
our friends, they combine all us Latinos, right?
Yeah.
So they told me, "You want a burrito?" And I remember thinking, I didn't know what a burrito was.
Yeah,
at
you're
the
like
time.
Taco Bell's not authentic.
Indian.
Authentic Latino food.
Yeah.
I
So
know now.
you
since
didn't even know what a
I have to
burrito
have
was.
Tahini and everything. Now I know, but yes.
Oh wow! I didn't even know what a burrito is. But you
Huge
get over
shift.
there. Yeah, big culture shock. How long were you guys there?
I was there all through college
Okay.
until my husband and I got married, and then we moved, and now I've been thankful enough my family moved down here. So we're all here in Yuma. And you know what's funny? Listen
up?
to this. So Cubans called another Cuban that is super Americanized a Yuman. So all my family in Miami, they call me the Yuma of the family. And so now the Yuman of the family is in Yuma.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna find out how you ended up in Yuma. I know it sounds like
You already
something
know.
to do with your husband, but we're gonna find out more about that on the other side of the break. You're listening to What's Up Yuma Radio right here on 94.7 KOFA Border Radio.
Welcome to KAWC's The Hotspot.
I'm Chloe Michael.
And I'm Maya Manry. This week, we hear from artists and promoters alike who share the impact music has on Yuma.
That's what I really like. I like people having a good time, bringing joy. Music is such a powerful instrument to transmit joy.
This show is available as a podcast or online at kawc.org under the Shows tab.
Bringing the heat to Yuma and La Paz, it's The Hotspot.
The weather forecast for Parker today is sunny with a high near 95, partly cloudy tonight with a low around 57, sunny in Quartzsite with a high near 93 and a northwest wind around 5 miles per hour, partly cloudy tonight with a low around 61, and sunny in Yuma with a high near 95, partly cloudy this evening with a low around 61.
KAWC and KOFA are entering a new chapter. After 20 years of dedicated leadership, General Manager Dave Reek is retiring in June. We are seeking our next executive director, a relationship builder who will lead with vision, strengthen local support, and guide public radio in the Yuma region forward. Learn more at kawc.org/jobs.
What's up, Yuma? Welcome back to What's Up Yuma Radio. We are here speaking with Yendi Parker. She came all the way from Cuba just to be with us today. No, she is from
By way of
Cuba.
Portland.
Yeah, by way of Portland.
And maybe other places in between.
Yeah, and okay, but so we kind of left off. You're human. You're here in Yuma. You love Yuma. How'd you end up here? And I'm pretty sure the military, but I'll let you tell the story.
Yeah, I think we were in the Northwest at that point. We were in Puget Sound, almost Canada. And my husband said, we're going to Arizona. And I literally was like, you mean where my lettuce comes from? Yuma, Arizona. And that's where we headed. We'd been all over the country, but we went from almost Canada to almost Mexico, from the grayest spot in the world to the sunniest.
To the
and
sunniest.
I love it because I got my palm trees back.
So what's better, the sunniest, right?
Oh, 100%.
All
I'm from the
right, I like to
Caribbean.
hear it.
I
Yeah,
was probably
I agree.
low-key depressed. I just needed to be in the sun. So
Yeah. So what happened when you got here and got into the sun? Did you turn on like a light bulb, or was it like okay?
My kids had a literal meltdown on the tarmac. because we landed and it was the 1st of August. And we got out of the airplane and my little girls touched the handle and they burned themselves and started screaming. We literally ended up in the middle of the tarmac in the Yuma airport and they were crying and screaming. And I had to give them a lollipop and get into the rental car. The AC could not come out quick enough. Rushing to this house, I bought sight unseen and I just threw them in the pool. They literally just jumped in, clothes and everything. They just
like a baptism, almost.
Yuma
baptism, jump in the pool.
I love that. That's pretty cool. So they got here, and then did they start to, get used to it a little bit? Take some time, but...
We took to it right away. We just have such an awesome community and amazing people here from all walks of life, and it's all they've really known or remember a lot for the youngest, the 2 youngest. So
that's cool.
They're home. This is their home.
Mm-hmm. So what did you, career-wise, were you a stay-at-home mom at this time?
I was very blessed to be able to do that for the first about 8 years of our marriage with our little ones. I did little side hustles like flip a house or do furniture, things like that. But I was a stay-at-home mom. And then we got to Yuma. And I had applied to law school in the past. So there's your theme of today.
Yeah.
But I felt like being home. And then we got here. And it was like a fork in the road, and I wasn't sure where I wanted to do. And I started volunteering at their school, and I started subbing all over our county. And I've always been told I should be a teacher, and I'm good with kids. And I left subbing jobs crying, but they were happy tears. And that's when I knew, okay, that means something.
Yeah, you belong
when you're
there.
Happy. And so I went ahead and got my master's at NAU, and I started teaching, and I let go of law school. I might do law school part-time at some point, just maybe, but I just love my job, my life right now, and I can have summers with my kiddos. And, it doesn't matter what day you have at work, you did something for at least one student, whatever they needed, at least something that,
So you're an English teacher at Yuma Catholic. What level, what grade?
Freshman.
Freshman. Okay. I have to say, I taught freshman English at San Luis High School for 1 year before I was here. And, there's some great, you have a small school, but San Luis is a big school. So there's some students that pay attention, they do the work. There's others that could care less, right? They're on their laptops. But what can you tell our listeners and viewers about the community at Yuma Catholic? Because it's a small school, so everyone knows each other. But what makes that community special for you?
Sure, that's part of it. And that's why we call it the YC difference, because we really I think also having, we pray together. I love as a teacher that can pray with my students. I think that makes a huge difference. And honestly, we have certain standards, and we're not going to change them no matter what. And there is no phones allowed or anything like that. So then they're super focused. And don't get me started on AI.
Yeah.
I'll use ChatGPT here and there, but they're little right now. They really need to hone in their own skills and do what they need to do. So we just have certain protocols to kind of help them just be the best version of themselves that they can be. And we have kids from all walks of life that attend our school, and it becomes a family. And I think part of that, the culture that we build, where we let them know we love you, we care about you, and you just tell a kid that, and that's all that matters.
And there is also a part of community service, right? Because I also went to a Catholic high school. I know, you want to be young men and women for others. So there's that community involvement, community volunteering that is encouraged in all school, in a lot of schools, but also at Yuma Catholic.
Help them, especially for this generation. That's so important for them to see past themselves, because with the narcissism is crazy right now. With the social media, me, selfies. This. I think it's so important for them to realize. So there's a world out there. You need to make a difference for it, and you're not entitled to anything. You need to work hard. And so I think that's the first step. So
you went from English as second language, 11 years old, learning it in Portland, and now you're teaching it to freshmen.
I was hustling before, though, in college. I would edit for a little side hustle money. And I'm thinking, what, in college already? But okay.
Yeah. So teaching, you said, came natural, something that you liked. You're subbing, you're leaving, you want to be here. Was it English that you wanted to teach, or was that kind of where it landed at the time?
That's probably where it landed. My bachelor's is in political science.
Okay.
Probably from my background. I think when you
would you like to teach civics or government or something then, or
maybe in a way that is honorable in the sense that I want them to think for themselves. I want them to see that there's two sides of the coin, that there is often no black and white, just very gray at times. I want them to just analyze for themselves, and That's important
Which
to me. No
to me,
matter what I
that sounds like
teach.
how it should be, right?
100%.
It should be. I just got to say, my favorite teacher of all time was a civics teacher, Mr. Gilligan, 8th grade. And but that's how he taught. Think for ourselves. And then really cool thing we got to do in his classes, we put on skits and like Saturday Night Live type things, and we got to work out and role play different things, and it got us to really think. So
my students just did that. They did a little podcast.
Oh,
a
very
book
cool.
that we read, and so that they had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. So you're teaching over there, and is that kind of where you want to end up, or do you have other aspirations? Because you did mention the law, but you're so busy. How are you going to find time to go to school?
So we'll see what God figures out. If I did do law school, it would definitely be part-time and online. So I could just do like a class here and there. But yeah, right now life is just wonderful the way that it is.
But let's go on the law thing. So what attracts you to that, the law side of things?
So probably because I like to argue.
Do you? Do you really?
It's so fun. It's so fun just to have a conversation and to think back and forth.
You like to debate? Is that
I
also?
do. I did all of that through college, Model United Nations, all of that. And obviously my life experiences. My mom, I grew up in the courtroom with my mom as a judge.
Yeah.
And there's probably a little bit of home too, right? Because I was going to say with my wife, I already know that I'm not going to win an argument. So like, if she wants to watch Jeopardy, all right, we'll watch Jeopardy. I'll go back to the game after. But I know with my wife, I'm not going to win the argument. So it's like, all right.
Sometimes I win it for him.
He
cracks me up. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, actually what you should say, because, I kind of did, this. And he goes, yeah, that. I'm like, okay.
So even when he wins, you won because you won it for him. Yeah. Oh my goodness. But so the law, you watching your mom growing up around that. So that's still kind of, that planted a seed in you.
Huge. So she was an amazing criminal law judge, and she gave that up for me to be here. And upon arriving in Portland, you can't just learn a language and, at 40-something switch careers.
Yeah.
It's a typical immigrant story, nothing special to me about it. But she became a janitor at a law firm in Portland, Oregon. And so I was in high school at the time. I remember sometimes I go with her to help her. And she did it with a smile on her face. Never a victim, which is so a crucial message for our generation today.
Never a victim.
She's just thankful and grateful, make the best of it. And so that's just going to carry with me forever.
And so carrying with you forever. So it seems like it has so far, right? And how do you keep that in the forefront of your mind?
I don't know. Life is just an opportunity every single day. Just be a decent human being. It can be very, very simple.
But but it's also very simple to be the victim, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's simple to be like,
get you. Sure.
It's like, I can't do this because of where I grew up. I can't do this because of this or my parents or the school I went to. So that seems easy. So how do you keep this never a victim in the forefront of your mind? You just remember your mom, the sacrifices.
Right.
What's kind of your way of doing that?
Well, what are your goals? What are your motivations? What's your drive? Who do you want to be in the future? Start acting like that person now, because how's that negativity can help you get anywhere? It's not going to. It's exhausting you in so many different ways. You got to shake it off and you got to go forward. And certainly I grew up with kids that were not able to do that. They were not able to see past their current circumstance.
And the reason why I ask is because on this show, I'm blessed to be able to do this. But one of the themes always with immigrant parents, the kids of these parents have a different way of looking at life, a very different way of looking at life. And it's just like kind of incredible for me. It's like they're going to make something happen. Whether or not
they're hungry.
They're hungry. Whether or not people believe in them,
right?
Whether or not they've had opportunities handed to them, they always are going to do something because of where they've come from.
100%. But we can instill that in our kids no matter their background, because that is our biggest goal now, me and my husband, is how do I make my kids thankful for what they have when they are being raised in such a blessed, atmosphere and situation. You have to take them out of their bubbles a little bit. You got to put them in front of certain things, make them do and experience and travel and see things so that they are appreciative, and also making sure they're not really spoiled. They need to understand. Do you really need a 5th bathing suit? No, you're lucky you didn't have that pool, girly. Okay.
Yeah, that pool to get thrown in August when you first get here, the Yuma baptism. All right, we're going to be wrapping up right now. If people want to follow you and your journey, how do they do so on social media?
Well, I guess I'm not a super huge fan of social media, but I had to get on there to run
you're
our
on there,
club
yeah.
page. I have to be, but I do. You can look us up, Yuma County Republican Women, Yendi Parker. I'm pretty sure I'm the only Yendi Parker, so you'll find me.
Probably.
Thanks, guys. Thank
And
you
what
so
is
much for
Yendi
having
short
me.
for?
No, it's just Yendi.
Just
now,
Yendi?
If you wanted to get Latina, Yendita.
Yendita.
Yes.
Okay, because I heard you say that earlier. But all right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you,
with it. You
guys.
did behave yourself, so I'm
I did.
very
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, What's Up Yuma Radio is a production of KAWC, Colorado River Public Media. We broadcast from the studios in the Matador Activity Center at Arizona Western College in Yuma. We want to thank our engineer, Talon Gonzalez, along with Anthony Arnales, Juan Garcia, and Dave Reek.
You can find out more about KOFA at borderradioaz.org and on the KOFA app. Stay tuned for KOFA's Midday Music.
All right, and our next program on Monday, we're going to have Kayla Moran as well as Rudy Molina. They're going to both join us on Monday.
And you can listen to the podcast version of our program and check out past episodes anytime at kawc.org/podcast/What's Up Yuma Radio.
And if you want to get on the story, you got our show, you have a story to tell, you could do that at whatsupyuma.biz. Just hit the radio tab, whatsupyuma.biz, and you could book yourself on this show and behave yourself like Yendi did.
What's Up Yuma is sponsored by High Tanks Brewing Company, serving up scratch-made food, craft beers, and experiences at 2 desert locations in Welton. More at hightanks.com.
Thanks for listening to KOFA Yuma, whether it is on the radio at 94.7